Howdy friendos, my name is Stuart and welcome back to the world of Cyberpunk. Over these last few weekends, I've kind of unintentionally turned these into Studio Trigger weekends. We've been looking at Fooly Cooly, we've been looking at Delicious in Dungeon, and now welcome back to Cyberpunk. Last time we were here, we took a look at the brain space of David, the lead of our series. However, this week we are looking at the other lead, second best girl, Lucina Kushinada. Before the events of the anime, Lucy was born into a wealthy family between a corporate war veteran and a Polish netrunner named Shimmer. She grew up in a life of luxury up until the age of 7 when she hacked into her father's computer and saw the atrocities he committed during the Japanese Fourth Corporate War. Shortly after hacking his computer, she was given an aptitude test to see if she had potential as a netrunner. After she passed with flying colors, she was taken to an Arasaka facility and was tasked with exploring the old internet for lost knowledge. She and 12 other children were hunted by the old world demons and rogue AI, resulting in the death of many, and after the eventual rebellion of the rest of the kids, managed to escape. When that happened, Lucy was the only child who got away. She then traveled across Europe and eventually came to the new United States and found a home within Night City for about a year and was trained by fellow netrunner Kiwi, who slowly folded her into Maine's mercenary crew of Edgerunners, aka Cyberpunks. Due to Lucy's past actions, her otherwise fairly chill personality, and her methods to survive, we're actually going to label her starting alignment as true neutral. And I'll talk about the difference in her alignment and David's alignment more in the post-analysis. However, with that out of the way, let's go.
I made sure to lower the settings, mellow out the experience.
However, before we begin, don't click ahead yet. I promise this is actually kind of worth it. This video kind of has a sponsor, but not really. See, I recently just got back into HeroScape, and one of my viewers, a man named Count Smurfalot on Twitter, was actually the person who got me to finally make these videos. See, I recently got back into HeroScape, and thanks to Smurfalot, he had one of the old Marvel sets. Now, if you don't know about this, this is an incredibly rare game. Finding one of these is normally a very, very expensive process, and he sold it to me for super duper cheap. And as part of the agreement for him selling it to me as cheap as it was, I had to do a very specific call to action, and this is for him.
All right, Chooms, be sure to zero those like and subscribe buttons, flatline the bell to get notifications on channels Stitch and Biz, and be sure to leave a comment down below on whether Rebecca or Lucy is the superior output before you, Delta, if this is your first time chipping in, Nova. And if you're a real Edgerunner, consider becoming a channel member and getting access to some premium perks. What you waiting for, bitch?
Really? A Sandevistan? Damn, do tell me where you found it.
We meet Lucy in episode 2 when David catches her stealing from people on a train. She discovers that David has a Sandevistan, which basically makes him the Flash, and offers him a cut if he helps her steal. Chaotic neutral for stealing and lawful neutral for cutting a David, which is, yeah, a whole lot of nothing.
How about Izzy?
Typical rookie mistake. Hasn't taken any precautions since the implant was installed.
When David faints from using the Sandevistan too much, Lucy takes him to get some medical care. We found out later that Lucy only wanted to keep him around so that she can give the Sandy to Maine, one of her fellow gang members. However, she could have just taken him, to her house and left him passed out instead of giving him medical attention. We're gonna give him a lawful good for that. One of the nurses, EMT units, I don't know the terminology, tried to take David's Sandy, and Lucy helps make a getaway, and it's a nat 20.
Maine wouldn't shut up about his prized Sandy going missing, and I saw you using the exact same one on the train.
She then invites David back to her place and shares her dream of going to the moon. It's just a great moment. It's too bad for David that Lucy didn't tell him that Maine's coming for him and will probably kick his ass when they arrive. Since it's a sort of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, she prioritized Maine over a stranger that she just met, and despite being a cold and distant person, she still makes it an effort to show that there's no hard feelings. Feel free to disagree with me on this one, but I do think that her going the extra mile here is going to net her a chaotic good. Again, I'd like to know what you think about this in the comments.
You asked the GPS?
Can't from inside. Got a jammer up, but encryption shaky.
David, however, manages to talk his way into becoming a gang member since he would get more out of the Sandevistan than Maine would. Lucy's first job with David is stealing classified Arasaka corporate information. They find the GPS that they need from the target's car, but the owner of the vehicle catches them in the act. Without much choice, they steal the car and a highway chase ensues. They manage to get away and fend off the people chasing them. Faraday, who paid them to gather the intel, lets them know that this GPS is useless, which pisses off Maine because Faraday won't reveal what they actually need. Getting paid to steal something for somebody is chaotic neutral.
Kid's been hounding me for work. Whine, yap, yap. Walk that dog. Tucker him out.
Ass munch.
In episode 4, Lucy trains David. She doesn't want to, but Maine asks her to. She does a few more jobs, including data collection and gang busting. Later, Lucy is hanging out with the rest of Maine's gang, and they find a cyber psycho who injures her. David takes her to a doctor, and the two spend the evening together. Also, it's a Nat 20 scene. I don't care. Actually, so many of these scenes are Nat 20. They're just amazing visuals. I love it. Going for a chaotic neutral with the data stealing, chaotic neutral for fighting other gangs, and... you know what? I don't care. Bonding with your boyfriend like this, neutral good. Don't care.
Seems our favorite suit occasionally ditches his hustle and usual ride for a Delamain.
In episode 5, Lucy is going on a mission to capture a snuff film producer, Jimmy Kurosaki. The mission goes off the rails when Jimmy sends out an EMP, knocking David and Maine unconscious. Jimmy brings David back to his warehouse and tortures him until Lucy and Dorio show up to save him and capture Jimmy. Their new hostage cooperates, and they're able to draw in Mr. Tanaka. Their job in this episode is chaotic neutral, but saving David is neutral good.
You're the one that needs to listen. He's Arasaka.
With Maine going cyber psycho and putting Kiwi out of commission, Lucy has to deep dive into Tanaka's mind to finish the job. She collects everything that Tanaka knows, but he wakes up mid-dive and calls the police. Lucy and David leave as Dorio and Maine die from the police raid. She didn't want to help with this part of the plan, but evidently was forced to. I'm gonna go with neutral for that part and then chaotic good for saving David. Following Maine's death and learning more than she hoped from Tanaka's files, Lucy retires. With the files that she gained from Tanaka, she learns that Arasaka wants to test a cyberskeleton supersuit on David. During her retirement, she secretly spends all of her time tracking down and killing people who are after David. David continually invites her to join the Edgerunners, but she repeatedly declines. She keeps the cyberskeleton information secret because she believes that if David knows about it, he'll put himself into danger more than he's currently in. But she does not open up to him about her past, and she does not tell him what she's doing. We're going to go with neutral for leaving the life of crime, and we're going to be giving her, let's give her 2 chaotic good dings for trying to find a way to protect David from afar. This does happen over the course of a year.
David, wait. What was that?
Don't tell the crew.
In episode 8, David returns from a mission and collapses on the floor. Lucy rushes him to their chrome doctor, who warns David to lighten his machinery or else he'll die. David is about to kill him for suggesting that when Lucy snaps him out of it. David refuses to take any precautions for his cyberpsychosis and dumps Lucy. I'm giving Lucy a neutral good for helping him.
So simple, and here I expected fireworks.
After David and Lucy head their separate ways, Lucy is still trying to protect David from Arasaka's goons. It's too bad this time it was traps set up by Faraday and Kiwi, who takes Lucy hostage, giving Lucy another neutral good for continuing to look out for David, even after he was an ass to her.
Asaka Squad's gonna grab you and the suit. Get out of there. Do not use it.
The next day, Faraday tricks David into equipping the cyberskeleton. Lucy escapes Faraday for a moment and warns him not to put it on. However, it's too late. Even though her efforts were in vain, I'm going to go with another neutral good. In the final episode, just nat 20 all around, David breaks into Arasaka HQ and saves Lucy. Unfortunately, David is no match for Arasaka's secret weapon, Atom Smasher. During the whole encounter, Lucy is trying to talk sense and becomes the mental stability for David, but he still unfortunately dies anyway. Falco and Lucy drive away to safety. Having escaped Arasaka for now, Lucy takes a vacation to the moon, fulfilling a lifelong dream, however without the person that she truly wants it to be. True neutral. Last time we started David at chaotic neutral, matching the general alignment of Night City. However, Lucy is a girl who keeps to herself and trusts very few people and rarely resorts to violence to accomplish her goals, mostly sticking to petty crimes to survive, and she chooses targets purposely and avoids stealing from the needy. I think the biggest case for her in her starting at true neutral is her humanity, and this is evident from her first interactions with David and the extra steps that she goes in order to keep him safe and eliminate any potential harm that she could have caused to him. Lucy served as the main point of humanity in the series. She was the reason for David's growth and the rock that served as his sanity. Her background and motivations for doing so and what she did were to find peace and stability, and when she and David began to separate and distance from each other as a couple, David then became doomed because he lost the rock that kept him together. And this isn't to be laid 100% at the fault of David either. Lucy messed up and arguably was the cause of their separation and distancing, because once she found out about Arasaka and their interest in hunting down David in order to test him out for more military hardware, she shut down, and she was the one that couldn't trust him enough to tell him the truth. Over the course of the year-long time skip, Lucy basically lied to David, and because she removed the trust, the most important factor in any relationship, David started to slowly slip away into overworking and putting the job before his human connection. Lucy debatably could have saved their relationship, and she debatably could have saved David from the beginning if she told him what she was doing and why. Because at this point in their relationship, David was 100% and completely honest with her. And I think Lucy knows this too. However, what stopped her from sharing this information was the fear and uncertainty, which is a new element in her story, actually. Lucy originally came from a life of privilege and comfort, and uncertainty wasn't actually introduced into her life until she ran away from Arasaka headquarters. David, however, was born into uncertainty as a poor kid in this giant city. He didn't have anything rock solid in his life aside from his mother, and when she died, he was completely lost. However, David found his new rock. He found his Lucy, and he remained perfectly loyal to her, and he treated her as his certainty. And God, I can't get over how beautifully tragic this relationship is, because these two characters are a classic and amazing romance on how basically two soulmates are torn apart by both the conflict of the story and their own inner fears. And again, I've mentioned this like 2 or 3 times now, but I think about this show about once a week, and I'm really glad that I finally found the words I needed to say and put them on paper, despite the sloppiness of these last couple sentences. I know a lot of people have been asking for this video for a long time, and I just could not publish it till now. So thank you again to everyone who's been patient with me, and I know there's quite a few of you who've been wanting this one, especially you, Satsu. Thank you again to everyone, thank you to the patrons, and I'll see you all next time.